That little brown bottle of hydrogen peroxide costs about $1. Skip the 10-minute job it's part of and you can lose the whole car. One Audi owner did. 4 drain tubes packed with leaves, and Audi's estimate came back over $18,000. The insurer wrote the car off. 15 jobs this bottle does, 4 of them where it's the wrong answer, and number 4 is that Audi. Your mechanic knows all 15, he just doesn't volunteer them. Number 1. The air conditioning drain tube under your car. Walk outside on a humid day after you've been running the air conditioning and look under the front of the car. You should see a puddle. If the ground's dry, the drain is blocked. Your evaporator sits behind the dashboard pulling water out of the air all day, and that water runs down a rubber tube and drips onto the pavement. When leaves and slime block it, the water backs up and sits in the housing growing mold, and you smell it through the vents every time the fan comes on. Find the tube. It's a short, black rubber stub poking through the floor near the firewall, usually on the passenger side. Squeeze it, then work a zip tie up inside it until the water dumps out. Once it's draining, pour a 1/4 cup of peroxide down that same stub to kill the film that caught the debris. A shop charges $60 to $120 for that. And clearing the water only handles half the smell, because the other half is sitting 6 inches away in a part most people replace without ever cleaning. Now here's why that fizz matters, because it's the reason peroxide beats the bottle you'd normally reach for. Peroxide is water carrying one extra oxygen atom that badly wants to leave. When it hits algae, mold, rust, or dried organic gunk, that oxygen tears loose and pulls the mess apart, then turns back into water and air with nothing left behind. Use the plain 3% from any pharmacy, not the 35% industrial stuff. And check yours before you start. Pour a capful on something rusty, and if it doesn't fizz, it's already turned to water, which is what light does to it and why it's never sold in a clear bottle. That's the whole product. Same fizz, 14 more places to point it. Number 2, the cabin air filter housing, not just the filter. Swap the cabin filter and stop there, and you've done half the job. That filter is a $10 to $15 part behind your glove box, and a shop charges $40 to $80 to fit it. But the mold isn't only in the paper, it's on the plastic walls of the box it sits in. Pull the old one out, soak a rag in peroxide, wipe the inside of that empty housing, then fit the new filter. Skip the housing and the fresh filter picks the growth straight back up in a fortnight. That's the 2 wet spots handled. Number 3 is the one where half the videos on this subject, including some telling you to reach for peroxide, are flatly wrong. Number 3, battery terminals, and this is the first thing you shouldn't do. Search this online and you'll be told to pour peroxide on that crusty white and green buildup on your battery posts. Don't. Peroxide is mildly acidic, around a pH of 4.5, and the crust is acidic too. You don't neutralize an acid with another acid, and the foaming people describe in those videos is what baking soda does, not peroxide. Mix 1 tablespoon of baking soda into 1 cup of water, and that's the fix AutoZone and Interstate batteries both specify. Disconnect negative first, then positive, brush the solution on, rinse, dry completely, reconnect positive first. It'll bubble as it neutralizes. And while you're down there, one thing worth knowing, if the crust comes back within a couple of months, cleaning it again won't help you because something is venting, and that's a battery telling you it's near the end. Quick thing, we put all of this into a guide called the Hydrogen Peroxide Bible. Exact dilutions, every job in this video written out, and the popular tips that don't work. The link's in the description, or scan the code on our channel banner. Now number 4 is the opposite problem. It's the one where doing nothing costs the most. Number 4, your sunroof drains. A lot of owner's manuals never mention this one. Your sunroof isn't sealed. Water runs off the glass into a channel around the frame, and 4 rubber tubes carry it down through the pillars and out under the car. Leaves and pollen turn to sludge in those tubes. The channel fills like a bathtub, and it overflows behind your headliner. Symptoms are a damp headliner, wet carpet behind the front seats, windows that fog for no reason, and electrical faults nobody can trace. Cleaning that drainage area at a shop runs about $125, and this is the Audi from the start of the video. The owner reported the A8 flooded from blocked sunroof drains. Audi's repair estimate came back over $18,000, and the insurance company totaled the car rather than pay it. 4 rubber tubes and a bag of leaves. Open the sunroof, find the drain holes in the corners, and clear the plug with a length of weed trimmer line. Gently, because those tubes are only press fit onto plastic nipples and compressed air can pop one off inside your pillar. Once water runs freely, pour a 1/4 cup of peroxide down each drain every spring so the sludge has nothing to cling to. That's the expensive one out of the way. The next few are small, and the first one saves you a drawer full of tools. Number 5. Rust on your hand tools. Fill a glass jar with peroxide, drop the rusted sockets or pliers in, and leave them overnight. It's slower than the acids sold for this, so give it the full night and expect to scrub. The rust lifts as a soft brown sludge. Steel wool, dry completely, wipe a film of oil on. You'll see vinegar recommended instead, and vinegar does strip rust faster. It also flash rusts the bare steel it just exposed within hours, unless you oil it straight away, which is why a socket out of a vinegar bath looks worse a week later than it did going in. Peroxide leaves nothing behind that keeps eating the metal. Same chemistry works on glass, but on this next one, it does less than the internet promises. Number 6. Foggy yellow headlights, and what peroxide actually does here. There are 2 different problems that look identical. One is a film of road grime and old wax sitting on the outside of the lens, and peroxide on a rag takes that off in about a minute. The other is ultraviolet oxidation, where the polycarbonate itself has broken down, and no liquid on Earth reverses that. It needs sanding and polishing. So do the test before you buy anything. Wipe the lens with a wet cloth and watch it while it's still wet. If it goes clear, it's film, and this works. If it stays cloudy wet, the damage is in the plastic, and anyone selling you a spray for it is selling you a spray. That's what it can't do to a lens. Number 7 is where it can actually hurt you. Number 7, your seat belts. Second thing you shouldn't do, and this one's a hard no. You'll find advice online telling you to clean moldy seatbelt webbing with peroxide, and you should ignore it. Seatbelt webbing is tightly woven polyester engineered to hold a specific load, and oxidizers break those fibers down. The owner's manual for a Mercedes 300D puts it plainly. It says do not bleach or dye seatbelts, because it may severely weaken them, and in a crash they may not be able to provide adequate protection. Mazda says the same about bleach and solvents. Peroxide is milder than bleach, but it is the same category of chemical doing the same thing to the same fibers. And a belt is the one part of your car with nothing between it and your rib cage. Warm water and mild soap only. Clamp the belt extended with a clothespin so it cannot retract wet, and air dry it out of direct sun. Belts are the hard no. Rubber is the opposite, and there is one strip of it that fails every single winter. Number 8. Door seals and weather stripping. The black rubber gasket around each door frame stays damp all winter and grows a film you can see as a gray haze. Wipe every seal with peroxide, all 4 doors and the trunk lid, dry them, then put a thin coat of silicone paste on. That coat is the part people skip. Bare rubber holds water, the water freezes overnight, and the gasket tears when you pull the handle on a cold morning, which turns a 2-minute wipe into a replacement part. If you're finding this useful, hit subscribe. We put out one of these every week. Now look, we're not going to oversell this. Peroxide doesn't fix cars. It won't touch a failing alternator, a bad wheel bearing, worn brake pads, or a check engine light, and anything involving your brakes, your steering, or your airbags is licensed work for good reason. What it handles is biological growth and oxidation, and that category is a bigger share of your service bills than most drivers would guess, which brings us to the one nobody checks until the carpet is already ruined. Number 9. The trunk well and spare tire compartment. Lift your trunk carpet and pull the spare. On older cars, there's often standing water down there, quietly rotting the carpet and rusting the wheel well from the inside. Sponge it out, pour peroxide over the bare metal and foam liner, dry it with a fan, and leave the trunk open a day. Then find the leak, because the peroxide kills what's growing, not the water feeding it. Usually it's the taillight gasket, a few dollars, 2 nuts you can reach from inside. And while you're carrying that rag around, there's a 2-minute job on the outside of the car that most people pay for by replacing parts instead. Number 10. Wiper blades and that smear you can't get rid of. When your wipers leave a greasy arc across the glass, check the blade before you touch the glass. Road grime and oxidized rubber build up along the wiping edge. Lift the arm, pinch a peroxide-soaked rag around the blade, and pull it the full length 2 or 3 times. The rag comes away black, and blades people were about to bin have another season in them. If it still smears after that, the film is on the glass, and wiping the windshield down takes off the exhaust residue that ordinary glass cleaner slides straight over. That's the outside done. The next 3 are inside, and they're the ones your passengers notice. Number 11. Cloth seats and floor mats. Spray peroxide onto a coffee stain, wait 10 minutes, blot with a clean towel, air dry with a window cracked. Test a hidden patch under the seat first, because it can lighten dark dye. For a pet accident, the order matters, and getting it backwards is why the smell keeps coming back. The odor in dried urine comes from crystals. Peroxide doesn't dissolve, so an enzyme cleaner goes first and gets left to work. And go light with the liquid, because soaking through to the foam into the cushion moves the problem somewhere you can't dry it. Seats are the big surface. The next one is 4 small ones people never think to touch. Number 12. Cup holders, the console, and your vent slats. Dip a cotton swab in peroxide and run it around every cup holder, every console seam, and along every vent slat. 2 spots almost everybody misses. Most cup holders have a removable rubber liner in the bottom, and whatever spilled 6 months ago is underneath it. And the seatbelt buckle housing collects crumbs and dried soda, which is a common reason a buckle stops clicking properly. Fix that, and you've solved something people book a service appointment for. Number 13. Faded black plastic trim. Soak a rag and wipe the chalky gray trim around your mirrors, handles, and bumpers. The oxidized layer comes off, and the original black comes back. Most trim restorers on the shelf are a dye or an oil sitting on top that washes off in a few months, which is why people buy the same bottle over and over. Peroxide takes the dead material off, which is why twice a year is plenty. But keep it on the trim, because 6 inches away is the surface where this stuff quietly does damage. Number 14. Your paint. The third thing you shouldn't do. Peroxide won't eat a modern clear coat on contact, so a few splashes during a wheel job aren't an emergency. It does reliably strip the wax or sealant sitting on top though, and that layer is the only thing between your clear coat and the sun. Let it dry on a panel in direct sunlight and you'll find a dull patch where the protection used to be. Rinse any overspray off the same day and never park a freshly wiped car in the sun. That one costs you a coat of wax. The last one can put you in an emergency room. Number 15. Never mix it with vinegar. Peroxide and vinegar are the 2 bottles every internet cleaning tip tells you to combine, and combining them makes peracetic acid. That is a corrosive that burns skin and irritates your eyes and lungs, and in a closed car with the windows up, you will feel it fast. Not in the same bottle, and not sprayed one straight after the other onto the same seat. If you want both, use the peroxide, wait 10 minutes, flush with plain water, then go in with the vinegar. Skip the flush, and you have just made the same acid in 2 steps, and never mix peroxide with bleach. That's the thread running through all 15. Peroxide doesn't repair anything mechanical. It kills the living layer that makes a car smell old, look old, and throw faults nobody can find. And that layer grows in every part of your vehicle that stays wet. Your mechanic knows all of this. He just gets paid by the visit, and a $120 charge to clear a drain tube is 15 minutes and a $1 bottle. If you want the other half of this, we did 9 hydrogen peroxide uses plumbers charge $300 for, and number 4 in that one is the toilet fix. Nobody knows about.